Please subscribe to my channel by clicking this subscribe button to get the regular updates for my ServiceNow videos. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Gaurav. Welcome to SaaS with ServiceNow. This is our follow-up session of ServiceNow Developer Training. Before I start my training, let me introduce myself quickly. My name is Gaurav Tripathi. I have around 9.5 years of experience in IT with 6.5 years of experience in ServiceNow architect solutions and project delivery. What are we going to learn today? In this session, we are going to talk about common API and methods used in client scripts. In a previous session, we talked about client scripts. Where do we write client scripts? How do we write client scripts? And we also learned some examples, some use cases. Now, I'm going to talk about API which are being used in client scripts in detail. That's what we are going to learn. And I'm going to talk about two major API which we have from ServiceNow. Those are, and that's our next topic, that is, what are we going to learn? And that is glide form and its methods, glide user and its methods. So when your customer or your client will ask you some of the requirement, and in that requirement you think of, okay, this requirement I can fulfill with the help of client script, not any other functionality which we have in ServiceNow, but with the client script. Now when you will start writing that client script, you have to be aware of some API and methods so that you can write and fulfill the functionality. And that's our goal of this particular session. So let's talk about first glide form and its methods. We will also post the second follow-up session just after this video, and that will be on glide user and its methods. So whatever methods we have for both the APIs, we are going to talk about those methods today. So let's start with glide form. That's our like one of the important API, I would say, and the object which we use for glide form, that is G underscore form. So the glide form API, it provides a method to customize forms, and that's what we learned in one of our previous session. So glideform.js, it is the JavaScript class that containing these methods. And the global object we have is G underscore form that is used to access those methods. So let's start with our first method, that is add decoration. So when you will type on client script, that is G underscore form dot add decoration, then you can see this method and you can utilize it. And the use case we have here is on incident form, show user icon when contact field is filled in. So let's go to my personal developer instance and let's see the example. And that is what I'm going to do today. I'm not going to show you example of all the methods. We will tell you what are the methods we have, but the most important API or methods we have, I'm going to talk about example of those methods. So let's start with add decoration. This is my personal developer instance and have this incident form. What I will do, I will right click here and I will go to my client scripts. So I will create a new client script and we are going to do this on change basically. And that's a requirement that if client if caller is empty, if not empty, then it should show that icon. So in that case, you can also show it on onload as well. So what I do, so whenever I fill some data in caller, then I should see it. So in this case, um, glide form demo on change. So table is already selected. I have UI type as desktop. Here I can select on change because I'm going to utilize on change value. If I'm changing the color, so if new value is not equal to null, that's what we should have. And then I will type g underscore form dot add decoration. Now this is the method. So whenever in syntax editor, whenever you will type the object that g underscore form and you will put a press dot, you will automatically get access of all the methods you have for g underscore form. So you can see we have add decoration. It also says adds an icon on a field's label. I press tab, it will give me what kind of parameters are needed. So you can see we have field name, icon, that's a string, and then title of that icon. So in this case, what we can do, let's pick the icon. And how exactly we can do that? I will go to my application navigator, search for action icons. Now, this is the list of icons. In this case, I will also do one thing, and I think it will give you a better visibility. I'm going to zoom this so that I think it will help you to see my scripting better. Let's keep it 125. I'm sure that now you can see it better. So you have this add decoration. I'm going to this list. What if maybe I will copy this particular name of the icon. First, I will put the field name, that is scholar underscore ID, comma, and then I will put the name of the icon. I'm not putting the last parameter. I'm just putting the two parameters here. Now I'm saving this form. So client script is saved. And you can see we have not selected the field just active. That's a mistake, I would say. So you have to select the caller field, and that's what we want. So I'm going to save this again, and I'm going to incident form. So if I go to incident form, now this will run only on change. So maybe we can do it for new incident. So if I open the new incident and I put the caller. So as of now, you can see we don't have any icon here. But if I select Abraham Lincoln, so whenever I will select Abraham Lincoln, it added that icon. So this is what it does: add decoration, add error message. Now, add error message shows the error message or kind of alert on the top of the form. So the use case we have is on incident form, show alert message to user when priority is set to P1. So in that case, I will go to my instance and I want it on change. So what I will do, I will make it as a comment. So this is comment now. I want this one and I have to make it this one. Now it will not give me any error. I will make it down. So if the priority is getting changed to P1, I should see that error. So what I will do, first I will get the value of the priority. So I will do where inc priority equal to, I'm just creating the variable, underscore form get value. So I have to get the value of the priority. Now you can also do it, but ideally in this situation you don't need it basically. So let me make it comment. And why you don't need it? Because you can do it with the help of new value, because you already have that, you're already saving that value for that field. So in this case I will select it as priority, and then I will put if same new value is equal to 1, then g underscore form dot add error message. So if you remember, I mentioned I just press the dot and I have all the methods for G underscore form. So I have add error message. I will press tab. It will ask me one parameter, and that's a message I want to display. So I will mention hi, or you are going to create P1 incident. That's what message I will mention. And I'm going to click on save. And this will run on change basically. So I go here and I'm reloading the form. I'm changing the impact and urgency to high. So you can see the priority is 1 and I got that message. So you are going to create P1. So this is how you can utilize the G underscore form add error message. The next one is add info message. It is quite similar to add error message, but if you just want to display a message with just blue color, it's an informational message. It is not something like an alert message. In that case, you can use info message. So I can show you with the same example. So we have this one. What I will do, I will just change this to info message. If I change to info message and I save this, so the functionality is similar. There's no change in the functionality, but the only difference would be that was like an error message, and this would look like an info message, informational message. So if I make it as a P1, so you can think of a situation when your client comes to you, then when exactly you have to mention the informational message or alert or like an error message. I make it as a P1. You can see now it's in blue color. This means it's an informational message. It's not an alert or kind of error message. But if, for example, if your user is doing some mistakes or you want to stop the user, alert him, in that case, you can utilize that add error message. Add option. Now, add option is also really important method, which is used to add the option, the choice into your choice field. So as a use case, you can see I have written on incident form, add a choice to contact type field. So if I go to my instance, we have this contact type field. And as of now, I have 4 choices. But what if I want to add a new choice called portal? So in that case, I will go here. Now I want this to run on load, not exactly on change. In order to do that, I have to write a new client scripts. So I will go to my list of incidents, go to client scripts. This is client glide form demo on change, and I will create a new client script. I will write the name, so it will be glide form demo on load. I have here on load. I will select the on load. Once I will select the on load, it will automatically populate the function here, on load function. Now the script I need to write. So we have to add an option. So what I will do, I will do G underscore form dot add option. So the parameters which is needed, you can see it says field name, choice value, and choice label. So you know that for choices, we always have a value and label. So in that case, what I will do, I will put the field name, that is contact underscore type. I will put the value I need to put, that is portal. And then I will put the label. So if I save this and I go back to my incident, I reload this. When I will reload this, then I will see that difference. So now initially you were able to see only 4 choices. And if I go here, now I will see 5 choices. So portal is automatically added. So this is how you can utilize add option. Clear options. Clear options is something to remove all the choices. So one of the use case which I have mentioned is if you want to remove all the choices from any I have written as a use case from the state field. So in this case, if you don't want users to see any of the choice, you can make it as clear options. User will not be able to select any choice, any option from that particular choice field. Clear value. This is really important method. On incident form, remove text from short description. So what if you want to clear the value of that field on client? So on one of the condition, if you want to remove the short description or any of the field, the value of that field, you want to make it as empty on client. So in that case, what you will do, I will go to onload and it can be any client script onload on change on submit. It's up to you as per your requirement because I'm just giving you the demo how exactly you can utilize these methods, but the conditions situation it's up to you, it's up to your requirement from the client. So I am making it as a comment. I'm going down what I do and I do g underscore form dot clear value. When I put this and I have to put this name of the short description. So this is the field name. This is the only parameter it needed. I'm going to save this. This time we are not going to open new incident because we are not going to put anything in new incident as of now. So I will open the existing incident. I'm going here. So we have this short description, unable to access shared folder. If I open this, so first it will load on the client, that means on your browser. Once it will be loaded, you will not see this short description anymore. You can see it's gone. Now, the important part to know here is it's gone from the client. It's gone from the browser, but not from the database. The record is still saved. Record is still has that short description. It will not be updated until you are clicking on save. So till you, if you're just removing it from the client, that means it is not getting saved. When you will click on save or update, then only it will be updated in your table record. Disable attachments. Now, what if you got the condition that maybe when incident is getting resolved, you don't want users to attach any attachment. And that is what I have written as a use case, that disable attachment when incident is resolved. So if I go to my incident, you can see at the top we have this paperclip icon, which with the help of which user can attach any document he wants. Now I want to put a condition that when user does not see this icon or shouldn't be able to attach anything. In that case, I will utilize the state field. So what I will do, if state field is resolved, then I should not see this icon to add anything. So I will go to onload. I will make it as a comment. I will go at the bottom. I will put var state. This is the variable I'm creating. G underscore form dot get value, and I will put the name of the field as state. I will put here if state equal to 6 if it is resolved. Then I will g underscore form disable attachments colon semicolon. Then I'm going to save this client script and I'm going to back to my incident. I'm reloading it. Now, why I'm reloading it every time? Because you have updated your client script. Now, you have to remember that you run the client script on client. So the when you loaded the previous like previous form, it still had the previous session. So in order to reload it, it will refresh and then it will utilize that new client script which you have updated. So now you have this paperclip icon. If I changes to resolved, now you can see it is not changing. Why it is not changing? Because we have mentioned as on load. So in this case, I will show you. So now you got really good situation that you can also make it when you're making it as a result, this will not be visible. But what if I just open result incidents and I'm opening this when it is getting loaded, and that's what we have written on load. Once our form got loaded completely and you can see the state is resolved, and now you cannot attach any document because you don't have that icon anymore. So that's the difference. So this is the functionality of disable attachments. Then we have enable attachments. So if you want to enable in another condition, then you can also do that. It will show that icon again. Flash. Now Flash is also really good method if you want to get attention of your user in one of the field. So it's kind of a flash when it kind of I would say flash that particular field so that you can get the attention. So how exactly it can do that? Let's go for on load. I will go to my script. I'm making this as a comment and I'm putting g underscore form dot flash. So flash is the specified color, the specified number of times in the field. I press tab, it shows me the parameter I needed. So it shows the widget name, the field name, and the color and the count. So what I will do, I will put priority. Then I will put the color, and that can be blue. And how much like count? So I will put 5. If you will put 2, it will, I think, it remove in just 2 seconds, I would say, even less than that. And if I save this and now I go to my incident, reload this, you will see the difference. So you can see now we have this blue color. So if you want to get some attention, it might happen that you want to flash it if priority is P1 maybe. You want to flash it if caller is a VIP user. In that case, you can do that. Next is get action name. Now, if you want whatever button you have clicked, if you want to get the value of that action, in that case, you can use this get action name. Get Boolean value. Get Boolean value is a method which you can utilize to check the value of a checkbox, whether that checkbox is checked or not. So you can understand as per the naming convention, it says get Boolean value, whether it should return true or false. So if it's returning true, that means it is checked. If it's returning false, that means it is not checked. In that case, you want to check the value of a checkbox, then you can utilize get Boolean value. And in this case, I have used as a use case that if knowledge checkbox is checked, show an info message at the top of the form. That's kind of a use case. I'm giving an example. So the syntax would be the same, g underscore form dot get boolean value. Now you can, whatever value it is returning, you can save that in one of the variable and then use it. Get control. Now get control is a method to get the elements basically. You get the control of that field and it will return the element, HTML element of that field. So for example, if you want to change the color of incident text maybe, or maybe any field like a short description, in that case, you can utilize this get control. Let me show you one of the example. So you can see we have this short description test. So I will make this as a comment. I go at the bottom, g underscore form, get control. So the control I want for short description, and I will save this value in a variable as I mentioned, maybe where a equal to. And what I will do, a dot style dot color equal to red. I am going to save this. It is saved. I'm going to reload the form. Once this form will be reloaded, now you can see this short description color becomes red. Now, the reason behind it because I'm getting the HTML element of that particular field, and now I want to display it. So if you remember, if you have learned HTML ever, then you'll be able to replicate it. That we use style.color. It's kind of a CSS, and that's what we are doing right here. So it is doing the same thing, but with a different functionality of ServiceNow. Then we have get decimal value. Now, get decimal value gives you the decimal value of a field. So, for example, if you have any percentage field and you want to get the decimal value, in that case, you can utilize get decimal value. So it's the same, the syntax is similar, g underscore form dot get decimal value, and you have to mention the field name. Get int value. Get int value, it's similar to decimal value, but it returns the integer value of the field. So in this case, the parameter which you needed, that is the field name. And you can mention g underscore form dot get int value, and you can mention the field name. In that case, you will get as a return of the data, you will get the integer value of that particular field. Then we have get label off. Now this is also really important method. That on incident form show alert printing the label. Now, the use case you can think of as per the situation or the requirement you will have, but let me show you how exactly you can use this. So get label off. If I am here, I'm going to make it as comment, and I will do g underscore form get label off. As a parameter, I need to put the field name, and maybe I will do short description. Now this is the field value, the name of the field at the back end, not the label. So if I save this, I can get it, but I need to display something. So in order to do that, I have to make it an alert and save this. Once I will save this, I will go to the incident. I will reload this. When I will reload this, it will show me an alert with the name, the label name of the short description field. And now you can see it says short description. So this is how you can utilize get label off. Then we have get reference. Now this is the really important method for any developer, because you will utilize this method, I would say, most of the times. Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the requirement, but you will still, I think you definitely need to learn about this method. So let's take a look how exactly we can utilize this method. So as an example, as a use case, I have mentioned that on incident form, show alert if the caller is VIP. Now let me explain you a little bit in detail that what is the main use of this method. Now, as I talked about the VIP, now how do you know in ServiceNow the user is a VIP user? So we know it with the help of a field called VIP. That's the name of the field, VIP field. If that is checked, it's a checkbox field. If that is checked, that means that user is a VIP user. Now, if we are on our incident form, if I talk about the user detail I have, it's only in one of the field called caller field, and that just has the name in front of me on client. So how can I know that this caller is a VIP or not? If you get this kind of requirement, not only for just one reference field like a user, any reference field you have, in that situation, you can use this really powerful method called get reference. In that case, what exactly you can do? So let me go here. So what we need to do, if the user is a VIP, then I should show an alert. Now that's a requirement. Show alert if the caller is VIP. And that should happen on load. So what I will do g underscore. So first I will save that data. So I will put caller is equal to g underscore form dot get reference. Now the important part of get reference is parameters, and very important part. So get, when you press tab for get reference, it will ask you to put field name and then callback function. What if you don't put the callback function? It will still work, but that will be called as a synchronous call to the server. But you don't want synchronous call because that is not recommendable. That will also impact the performance of the system. So in that case, we have to utilize asynchronous call, and that will be done with the help of callback function. So what we are going to do, I'm going to utilize that caller ID field name here. I will mention the name of the field. I will mention alert caller. So this is the function. Now I will declare that function alert caller, and I will give a parameter that is caller here. And here I will do if caller dot VIP equal to true. In that case, alert, hey, the reporter of this is VIP user. Now this is the alert I want to give to the user. I press save. Now let me search for VIP user incident. And I would really want to show you the difference. Now, if you will see this list, I have a lot of callers. Now, this is the VIP caller, but first I will show you the non-VIP caller. So if I open this incident, the form is getting loaded. I don't see any alert because the user is not VIP. Now, if I go to VIP user incident, I'm opening this. When form is getting loaded, you can see the message, hey, the reporter of this incident is a VIP user. That means it is able to check that value directly with the help of get reference. So you have to remember, you can definitely utilize this particular method. Ideally, you have some other methods and features as well from ServiceNow, like G underscore scratchpad. That also gives you the another functionality, but we will talk about it later. But anyhow, if you want to get the value of any reference field, in that case, you can utilize this method. It's a really powerful, but make sure you're not using it without callback function. You have to utilize the callback function in order to increase the performance of the system. Then we have get section names. Now in ServiceNow, if I go here, these are the name of the sections. Now if you will put g underscore form dot get section names, it will display all the section names you have with comma, all the section names. That's what it does. So if you want to see the result, do alert. Now every time, if you want to, and I think if you have learned JavaScript, you will definitely know that if you want to see some output, that what kind of output you are getting from any method of ServiceNow, always go for a log maybe, or I think in this case you can always utilize alert. I think that's the best way, I would say, in order to see what kind of output you are getting when you are putting that method. If you're not able to get any output like undefined or something else, at least you'll be able to know whether you're writing the right method or not, or maybe you're giving some right parameters or not. Then we have get sections. Now get sections, it's quite similar to get section names, but get section names give you directly the names of the sections with comma, but this one it returns an array of form sections. So whatever form sections we have, it gives you those sections in array. That is the main functionality of this method. Get table name. Now get table name method returns the name of the table on which your record is on the record which you're working on. So for example, you have opened, you want to run the client script, and you want to know the table name while running it. Then you can utilize it. Ideally, this would be used. It might happen that you have to use that table name. In that case, you can use that. And the syntax is still the same. That is g underscore form dot get table name. Then we have get unique value. Now get unique value. Now you can understand that it is returning the unique value, and that unique value is the sys ID of the record. So if you want to on client end, if you want to get the sys ID of that particular record, maybe you're working on incident change, whatever record, and you want to get the sys ID of that record, in that case you can use g underscore form get unique value, and then it will return the sys ID of that particular record. If you want to test it, as I mentioned earlier, do alert, put the brackets, and then you can put the g underscore form dot get unique value. You'll be able to get that on any incident you want, or any change you want, or any of the record of the system. Then we have get value. Get value is also a really powerful method. So one of the use case we have, show alert message when priority is p1. So what is the use case of this get value? So I will go to my instance. So what I want, if the priority of the incident, so if I'm loading it, I want to show an alert message maybe whenever the priority is P1. So I'm going this, I'm just making it as comment. So it's comment. I will go a little above. Now when I'm loading the form, so if priority is P1, I should see that alert message. So what I will do, where a equal to, I will put that in any variable, g underscore form dot get value. If you remember, in on change we already have that data, like new value or old value. We already saving that data, but here we have to get it. So how exactly we can do that? You press tab, get value, you put the name of the field, that is priority. I go here and I mention if a equal to 1, and then I will put g underscore form dot add error message. This is a P1, just an example. I press save. I go to my incident. So it is not a P1. So let's open a P1 incident. This one, if I'm loading it, so now you can see it says this is a P1 because the priority is P1. So it is able to get the value of this particular field, and then with the taking the value, you can utilize in your conditions. Then we have hide related list. Now you have related list on your incident form. So if I go to this incident, if I go at the bottom, you can see we have these two related lists. Now, if you want to hide it, you might get this requirement from your customers or from your client that you don't want to show this related list. Maybe one of the related list or every related list in some conditions. Maybe it might happen. In that case, so there are two kind of hide related list methods you have. One is hide related lists. That is S you have. That means it will hide all the related list of that particular form. Now, if you want to hide just one specific related list, then you can mention it. I have given the use case that show affected CI related list when CI is not empty. So in that case, I'm not going to show you the complete example, but just to show you that how exactly it's work, you have to type the g_form hide a related list. So this will hide all the related list, and this will hide just specified related list on the form. If I press tab, it will ask me the parameter, the list table name. That's what you have to mention here. It will automatically hide that. So I'm going to make this as comment and go to next API method is live updating. Now, ServiceNow came up with a feature, as you know, that if I think you can see the live changes. That's what they came up with. So, what if, for example, if two users are working on the same incident and another user is changing at the same time, maybe some another field or the same field which another user might update. So in that case, if that happens, is live updating, if user is interacting on the same form or two users, and if something is getting updated, now that situation you can get with the help of this method. So if that condition is there, that means if g underscore is live updating, if that is returning true, that means you can put some conditions. So that's the reason we have this particular method that is live updating, and it's really important method, I would say. Then we have is mandatory. Now, as we know, we have ServiceNow UI policy for making the fields as mandatory, read only, and visible. Now you can also do these functionalities, and it might happen there can be some situations that you can't do it just with UI policy, and you have to use a client script, that you have to do some scripting, and then only you have some conditions to make them as mandatory. In that case, that is what you have to mention, that is mandatory. So if you want to make a field mandatory in some conditions with the help of scripting, then you have to mention g underscore form dot is mandatory, and then you have to put that value. So if you want to check this, then you can use is mandatory. You're not setting it, you're checking it whether that field is mandatory or not. So if that field is mandatory, then it will return true. Is new record. Now you can understand, I think maybe I just because there's this different method of we have, that is set mandatory. This one is mandatory. You have to check, is it mandatory, that field. That's what you have to put. The parameter which you will mention here, it's a field name, and that's what you will do. So it will check. So if in your client script you want to check if any field is mandatory or not, then you can use it with the help of is mandatory. Is new record. Now, is new record is also another method in which you can validate whether the current record it's a new record or not. New record, I mean when you click on create new and you're not saving the form. So until and unless you're not saving the form, it is a new record. So if you want to check it whether it's a new record, then you have to put this condition, put this method, and you have to mention g underscore form dot is new record. It will return true if record has not been saved yet. That is what you can utilize is new record. Then we have is section visible. Now this is another method in which you can check whether that section is visible or not. Now as a parameter, it needs one parameter, that is the name of that section. So if it is visible, it will tell you whether it's true or false. Remove decoration. So if you remember, I think our first method we talked about add decoration. So if you want to remove any decoration as per any different condition, then you can use remove decoration. Remove option. We talked about add option from our choice field. Now in this case, if you want to remove any choice, this is how you can do. So on incident form, remove closed option for the idle user. Now this will remove that closed option. They will not be able to see that closed option. And that's what you have to do, remove options. Save. Now on client, if you really want to save the form with some action of the user, maybe if he changes the button, he changes the field basically, in that case you want to save the form without clicking on save button, in that case you can use this and you can save the form, In that case, you have to use g underscore form dot save. The next is set disabled. So if you want to make a specified field available or unavailable, so you don't want to show that field, in that case, you can use this set disabled, like you have the visibility of the field in UI policy. So it's quite similar, but the recommended option will always be UI policy rather than client script. Set display. Now you will be able to display the fields. Now disable is quite different because you want to make that field available or not, then you will use disabled. And if you want to, as part of the display, whether you want to make that field visible or not, that you can, in that condition, you can use set display. So g underscore form dot set display, and you, as a parameter, you can put field name, and you have to put the Boolean value, comma, like comma Boolean value, that is true or false. That's what you have to mention. Set label off. Now, as we can get the label of the field, you can also set the label of the field. So you already have a label on the form, but it might happen that your customer might look for some different label with some another condition. In that case, you have to put that condition, and then you have to put as set label off. And in that case, as a parameter, you have to mention the name of the field, and then you can set the label. Set mandatory. So as I mentioned earlier, that with the help of UI policy, you can set the fields as mandatory, visible, or read only. But you can also do it with the help of client scripts. And this is what you can do, that is set mandatory. So if you want to make any field as mandatory, you can do it with the help of g underscore form dot set mandatory and the field name. And you also need to mention mandatory, whether it's true or false, whether you want to make it mandatory or not. That's what you have to mention. The use case which I have mentioned here, when form is not the new CI, should be mandatory. So if form is not new, the CI should be mandatory. That's what it is telling. And how exactly you will find that form is not new? That is new record method. Set read only, it's similar, which we talked about with the UI policy. You make read only, and you can make it with the help of set read only. G underscore form dot set read only. Set section display. Now, as we talked about the sections of all the forms we have, if you want to make them display, if you want to display those sections as per some conditions, then you can use the set section display. And it will also take some parameters, that is section name, and then the Boolean value. The Boolean value which I'm talking about, the overall parameter would be the section name, then comma, and then you have to put the Boolean value, whether true or false, whether you want to display or not. Set value. Now, this is really important method of client script. So as a use case, you can see we have on incident form set the value of current logged in user in caller field. So you want to set the current logged in user in the caller field because automatically it doesn't come. So let me show you in my personal developer instance. So if I click on create new and form is getting loaded, but now you can see it is asking me for the caller. Now, if your requirement comes in that you want to push this caller automatically, the whomsoever the user is logged in. So in that case, I will go to my client script. I will create a variable because I have to get the user first, whomsoever has logged in, and I have to get the sys of that user. In that case, what I will do, I will create a variable user, and I will do g underscore user, not g underscore form. Now, g underscore user is also another really important API, which we will talk about in our follow-up session. So we have g underscore user dot, I will select user ID. I press tab, semicolon, and here I will put g underscore form dot set value. I will put the name of the field we have, that is caller ID, comma, and here I'm going to put the value which you want to push, and that is we have saved in user variable. I'm going to click on save. I'm going to my incident form, saving the reloading it. When I'm reloading it, you will see that caller now has system administrator, that is me. I have logged in as system administrator, and that's it is showing my name over here. So you might get this requirement in one of your organization or one of your requirement from your client or from your customers. Then we have show error box. This is also another method that if you want to show the error box, then you can use this particular method. So if you want to display an error message under specified form field as a box under the field basically, in that case, you can utilize this show error box. The parameter which it needs is the name of the field. That's what you have to mention and the message you want to display. So it is not similar to add info message or add error message, because add info message or error message, they're not related to any field. They just show those messages at the top of the form. This is somehow related with the field level. So if you want to show some kind of box or message on the field, then you can utilize this show error box. Show field message. Show field message is another method in which you can use if you want to show some field message. It will again come like in box. So if you want to show some message on the field, then you can utilize this particular show field message. Show related list. We already talked about hide related lists. And similarly, we have show related list. It's vice versa. So if you want to show related list, then you can use and you have some names of the related list. In that case, you can utilize g underscore form dot show related list, and then you can put the name of the related list. Submit. This is another method when you want to perform some action, you want to submit the form. In that case, you can utilize this submit method. So if you want to save the record, you can use this particular method. That means g underscore form dot submit. Now, this particular submit method, it you can utilize it with parameter and without parameter as well. If you will put without parameter, if you will keep put this method without parameter, then it will just save the record. But now, if you will put the UI action, if you want to click on any particular button, so if you want to perform the UI action is specified by the in the parameter, then you can use that particular. So that action name you want to click, that name of the UI action button you want to click, you have to utilize that. So while user is doing something and on some condition on the client, you want to click a button or click a UI action, in that case you can utilize submit g underscore form dot submit and the name of that particular action. In that case, you can utilize submit. So these are the all g underscore form methods in client scripts you can use. The follow-up session we have will be around g underscore user. That session will be really crisp and small because we have a lot of methods for this particular API g underscore form, but g underscore user we have only I think a small number of methods, so it won't be that much long. So these are all important APIs. I hope you liked my video. So thanks for watching my video. Have a great day.